Hello everyone, this is Yogendra again before you with another poem of 17th century for the BA first year under Sekhavati University syllabus. To His Coy Mistress. It is a metaphysical poem written by Andrew Marvell. Before we start the poem, let's have some introductory note about its poet. Andrew Marvell was born in 1621 and left this world in 1678. As I told you, he is one of the leading metaphysical poets. The name was given by Dr. Johnson, and this group of poets was headed or led by the great poet John Milton. Andrew Marvell was basically a politician, and before 20th century he was actually not so much known as a poet as we know him today. Before 20th century he was known basically as a politician. But in 20th century his poems were reprinted and they were given their due importance, and after that he got recognition as a great poet. He was a satirist and he represented his place Hull in the House of Commons from 1659 to 1678. You can see from his life period that the Commonwealth government period was also during his lifetime. So initially he objected Commonwealth government, but later on he supported this government. One of the interesting fact about Andrew Marvell is that he was Latin secretary to the soul or the greatest epic writer of English literature, that is John Milton. He was his friend and colleague. Basically, Andrew Marvell is known for his poem that we are going to have today, To His Coy Mistress. Another poem for which he is known is The Garden, and for the return of Cromwell he wrote an ode that is also famous, an Horatian ode upon Cromwell's return from Ireland, and satire Flecknoe, also famous. So this was the brief introduction of Andrew Marvell. Now let's come to the poem To His Coy Mistress. First, I'm going to present before you the gist of the poem, what it is about. Here, in this poem, that is in the form of a dramatic monologue where there is a single speaker and a single listener, and the single listener is not interrupting in the speaker's speech, but during the poem we come to know that there is someone who is listening. The background is that there is a lover who has got the chance to love his beloved, but his beloved is too much shy. He is very coy. He is not she is not cooperating with his physical advancements. She draws back and she is sighing actually, and this thing is not liked by the lover. So by his intellect or by his wit, he tries to persuade his beloved, or he tries to entice his beloved that we have a short period, we have limited time, so we must utilize it as much as we can. There are biblical allusions in the poem that we will see during the poem. Before we start the poem, one more thing that I want to make clear before you, that it is a metaphysical poem, so definitely we are going to have startling metaphor or simile or startling comparison in the poem. But one more title that is given to the poem, or one more group in which the poem is included, that is the title that I am going to share with you, a carpe diem poem. To His Coy Mistress is actually a carpe diem poem. Now, this phrase is a Latin phrase which literally means pluck the day or seize the day. Actually, carpe diem means utilize the opportunity as much as you can and don't trust for the future, or don't live for the future. First of all, this phrase was used by great Roman poet, Italian poet Horace, and the complete phrase was carpe diem quam minimum credula postero, which is translated as enjoy yourself while you have chance and don't trust future. So here in this poem the situation is same. The lover has got the opportunity to love his beloved, so he don't want to lose the opportunity, so he is persuading, he is enticing or he is entreating his beloved that please cooperate with me, or if we uh, lose this time, then we both will be loser, we will have nothing. As far as the structure of this poem is concerned, it is written in iambic tetrameter couplets. It has 23 couplets and it is divided in 3 parts. The first part has 10 couplets, the second part has 6 couplets, and the third part has 7 couplets, as you can see. So let's begin. The first couplet. Had we but world enough and time, this coyness, lady, were no crime. Andrew Marvell begins the poem with second conditional sentence, where we use imaginary or hypothetical condition. Here Andrew Marvell says that if they had enough time in this world, then my lady, your coyness was not a hindrance for me. Then I would not complain to you. He says, if we had enough time, I would not complain to you. But my lady, we don't have enough time, so your coyness means your shyness, आपका शर्माना, is a crime. Crime here means is hindrance. Actually his coyness is restricting the lover from making love, from doing love. Second couplet. We would sit down and think which way to walk and pass our long love days. In the second couplet, Andrew Marvell says that we don't have time, my lady. If we have time, then we could spend our time or our life in any way you like. He says, we would spend it in any way that you would like, but today is such an opportunity that we cannot or we must not lose it. Next couplet. Thou by the Indian Ganges, actually it is pronounced. Let's have its pronunciation. Ganges. It is pronounced Ganges. It is the name of our river, Indian Ganga, that we call Ganga in our language, Hindi. Ganga side. Shouldst rubies find, I by the tide of Humber would complain. Here the idea proceeds from third couplet into the fourth couplet. Andrew Marvel says, if we had, uh, Andrew Marvel said, if we had enough time, we would spend it easily, we would spend it slowly, uh, but my lady, we don't have enough time. Our life period is too short, or our opportunity period is too short. But if we had enough time, then you might have been sitting near the bank of Indian Ganges and might have searching there for rubies, and I, far from you, would have been sitting in England on the bank of Humber River, and here I would have been complaining, or I have been doing some other thing. I would love you 10 years before the flood. And if we had enough time, then I would, he says, he would love him 10 years before the flood. Here, Andrew Marvel using the flood. This flood is biblical reference. Actually, in Bible, there is a character Noah. He was the descendant of Adam. 9th or 10th his was number in the row. He was told by God that there will be a flood and there will be 14-day continue raining, and everything will be destroyed on this earth. So, to save the earth, prepare a big ark or a big ship and take a pair from every animal and save the earth. So he takes Noah makes a big ship, a big ark, and takes a pair from every type of animal, and he himself with his family saves the world. And after 14 days, when the rain stops and 7 more days passes after that, the life again begins on the earth. So this flood was actually destruction of the world. So here Andrew Marvel says, if I had enough time, then I would love her 10 years before the flood. And you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews. And if, Andrew Marvel says, if they had enough time, then then he can admire her refusal, or he can endure her refusals till the conversion of the Jews. It is actually a hyperbolic language, because all Jews are at present not possible to be converted into Christianity, though it is thought that when the judgment day would come, all the Jew would be converted into Christianity. So here actually Andrew Marvel wants to say that if they had enough time, then they could wait for infinite time for making love, but they don't have enough time. Next, my vegetable love should grow vaster then empire, and more slow. Again, the same idea is repeated by Andrew Marvel. He says, my vegetable love, why do he call his love vegetable love? Because the natural vegetables grow very slowly. So if they had enough time, then his love would also grow slowly, but it would grow uh, higher and higher. It would grow vaster and vaster, like empires, and there was no problem of its speed if they had enough time. But they don't have enough time. 100 years should go to praise thine eyes, and on thy forehead gauge. Henry Marvel further says, if I had uh, enough time, then I would uh, dedicate thousand years in praising you, my beloved. He says 100 years. I would give 100 years to appreciate only your eyes, and I would give 100 years more to appreciate your forehead, 200 to adore each breast. And if I had enough time, then my lady, before making love with you, I would adore, or I would appreciate, or I would praise each of your breasts by 30,000 to the rest. And I would, Andrew Marvel says, he would take at least 30,000 years to praise every part of his beloved if he had enough time, but he don't have enough time. An age at least to every part, and the last age should show your heart. And further, again Andrew Marvel emphasizing his idea that if he had enough time, then he would dedicate even ages to appreciate his beloved's every part of the body. And the last age, he would love to dedicate the ultimate object of his love, or we can understand it in a different way, that in the last he would love to appreciate his beloved's heart at last. For here has been used in the sense of because. Lady, you deserve this fate, this state, nor would I love at lower rate. In the final couplet of the first part, Andrew Marvel says that, lady, all these things that I have mentioned above in upper part are not hyperbolic. They are the real things, because you deserve all these things. You deserve this kind of praise. And if you talk about me, then I am such a person who is also not a person of lower state or lower rate. Andrew Marvel says that he is also a person of higher quality, so he also loves to love in a respected way or in a higher rate. So this is the first part. In today's class, we are just having this section. In the next one, we will take the second part of the poem. For today, thank you.